This is just going to be a sort of final build update to the Whispering Ice Trickster character that I league started with this season, 3.25 Settlers of Calgar League. This is not going to be an in-depth guide. It's not even going to be as in-depth as the first video I posted this season. If you want an in-depth guide, I recommend looking up the guide posted by Kelvin on the official forums called Ice Dancing Queen. I also have a more comprehensive video going over how the build works from back in 3.23 Affliction League, and it's still basically the same build. In this video, I just want to go over what I upgraded, what can still be upgraded, and just talk about how strong this build is, and then I'm going to showcase doing some endgame content, Uber bosses, the Feared, etc. I'm going to do all of those right after I record this, and I'm just going to blast through all of them. I'll probably record them with my mic turned off, and then I will do a voiceover on top of them afterwards, just so I can focus on them during the fight, and then I'll talk about them once I have the actual footage of them ready. As for what I've upgraded since the last video, I now have about 17,000 energy shield, almost 17,000. Can be 17,000 if I change some jewels, but it's not worth it. Last time I think I had about 14,000. I don't recall exactly how much I had in the previous video. The main gear pieces that I've upgraded since then are the body armor. This is, I think, much better body armor since the last video. I don't recall exactly what I was wearing in that video. This is still, while it is very good, it still has a lot of room to be improved. It could have higher resist rolls, it could have much higher evasion and energy shield rolls. The crit multi, there are other options there for the implicit. I think one option is Aura Effect, which is very good on this build because Aura Effect turns into resistances, it turns into energy shield, and it turns into spell damage from Zealotry. This body armor is probably around 10 to 20 divine on trade, depending on kind of just depending on who's online and who's selling. But I fossil crafted this. I bought the 6-link base, and then I spent about probably 10 divine worth of fossils to craft this. Again, you can go much higher than this, but I settled on this, and I just didn't want to spend that much more investing into the character, because the real focus of this character is to be a very strong character for reasonable investment. You can invest a lot into this character and make it much stronger. You just don't have to. It's already a very, very strong character. Gloves, these have been significantly improved since the last video. They are just better gloves all around, better stats. I used a fractured base to start with, and I'm pretty sure I used intelligence essences. Yes, so deafening essence of spite to craft these, and then the eldritch implicits. Unnerve is enemies take increased spell damage, and 4% increased damage per 100 intelligence is obviously a ton of damage. That is almost 80% increased damage. I'm not quite at 2,000 intelligence, so 76% increased damage. Very good for a glove implicit. Amulet, this I just bought on trade. I think I got this for a bit of a steal. I'm pretty sure I bought this for 5 divine, and it had the open suffix, so I just crafted intelligence on it. I don't think it had the attribute catalysts on it either, and I've been farming ultimatum, so I have lots of catalysts. So Shaper Crusader Amulet, percent increased intelligence is one of the mods, and then 1% increased damage per 15 intelligence as another mod. This is kind of just the best combination of mods you can have on an int stacker amulet, and then I just was able to add more intelligence to it because there was an open suffix, and I think the person who was selling it just didn't notice. So while I bought this for 5 divine, this is more like a 10 to 15 divine amulet probably. I've also upgraded my jewels pretty significantly. Last time I posted this video, I had some jewels that were like less than 1 chaos worth. Like, they're really trash jewels. Now I have, we'll talk about this one in a minute. Now I have some pretty valuable jewels all around. Like my rare jewels, this one has corrupted blood, can't be inflicted, lots of resist, intelligence. It's got block on it, which is useful. Still have natural affinity up here. Forbidden Flame and Forbidden Flesh combo for Ambush and Assassinate. That is the Assassin notable. That it gives Culling Strike just automatically, and it also gives a lot of damage to enemies that are on low life. It actually works out to about, on this build, it works out to about 100% more damage while enemies are on low life, which is when they're below 50%. Watcher's Eye, this is the same Watcher's Eye I had before. I probably should have upgraded this by now because I bought this for 1 or 2 divine, I forget. Whatever I said in the previous video, I think I said 2 divine. Definitely could have a better Watcher's Eye by now with like a Zealotry roll on it instead of just Purity of Elements and Discipline. Still have my 2 split personalities up here. Still using 1 for Dexterity just because Necrotic Armor Dex requirement is so high. Also still using Practical Application here for Strength and Dex because the attribute requirements for this build have gone up quite a bit because of the new item bases. Since the previous video, I have hit level 100, so I have a few more points to work with. I think I was 95 in the last video. I've gone down here and got some staff block and 30% increased defenses while wielding a staff. This is 30% increased evasion and energy shield. This is a lot of energy shield. You can see if I take this out right now, I go from 16,844 to 16,016. This is almost 800 energy shield just by itself. Ideally, I would be able to take these 2 points here for crit chance and crit multi because this is a lot of damage. Probably if I could get rid of practical application, then I would move those points over here. I need the strength and dex right now. I would need to upgrade my gear to fix that. So still talking about jewels. Rational Doctrine. This is a 20 divine jewel. This is the most expensive item in the build right now. For sure. I have not spent this much on any other item in the build. I wanted to make sure that although I have pretty high-end gear on the build that I'm going to use to showcase Uber bosses and stuff in a minute here, I wanted to make sure I'm not like putting mirrors into the build. I don't want... Any build can look insane if you put mirrors into it, and I just want this build to be reasonably within reach for anyone who would want to like copy it and farm up for the gear. So nothing too insane in the gear. Rational Doctrine, the main thing it does here is you create Profane Ground on critical strike if intelligence is your highest attribute, which obviously it is on an int stacker. Profane Ground, if I hit alt here, it actually just says what it does. So hits against enemies on Profane Ground have 100% increased critical strike chance, so a lot of critical strike chance, and curses have 10% increased effect on them. This build uses a lot of curses. It uses Punishment, Frostbite, Elemental Weakness, and Assassin's Mark. So 4 curses, all getting increased effect. It works out to quite a bit of extra damage. I haven't actually looked at it in PoB, but it is worth it for the jewel socket. Jewels are really, really competitive on this build, and this is a 20 divine jewel. It is worth it, but if you had to leave it out because it's too expensive, you can use other jewels. Like I was using jewels like this before that just have a lot of attributes and crit and energy shield on them. Like these 3 jewels were all in my tree before I changed to Rational Doctrine and Forbidden Flame and Flesh combo. Some other options on the tree, you could drop this if you wanted to, if you didn't want all this evasion. But this is so much evasion. It feels really nice defensively because it turns your intelligence into an evasion multiplier. But it is 3 points that you could move into offense if you wanted to. There are quite a few options on this tree. Like you don't necessarily have to take these ES points, but you do definitely want this 100% increased energy shield from Helmet Mastery. But then again, you also want the 50% of energy shield to stun threshold mastery because otherwise you have no stun threshold because you have 1 life. So you kind of really want to have both of these ES wheels, but they're not 100% necessary, but they're both very nice to have. If you wanted to move some points around, there's an energy or a spell damage leached as energy shield wheel here that's pretty good. There is also a spell crit wheel here that's pretty good, and there's another energy shield leech that's not as good as Light Eater. That's about it for options on the tree. I've also gone over here a few times just to get Reflect immunity, just taking the Elemental Mastery for reduced elemental damage and then combining it with the Yugal Pantheon to get Reflect immunity for things like Uber at Ziri. Moving on to other things I've upgraded is Flasks. So I bought an Oriat's End. This is just for clear, and honestly, it is pretty good. I don't think it's entirely worth it. It does help the clear of the build, but the clear is kind of limited by the fact that the movement speed on the build is hard capped by the Stampede, which means even if you're clearing faster, you're still not moving any faster. And generally, you can clear screens about as fast as you move even without this, so It's hard to say whether or not Oriath's End is actually worth it on this build. For bossing, I have a Wise Oak. I don't have my resistances set up to get all of the defenses on it, but I do have Cold as my highest, which means I get damage penetrates, cold resistance, which is very nice. These 3 flasks, I think, were in the previous video, maybe slightly different. They're all gain 3 charges when hit, and then they just have pretty nice effects, like reduced curse effect. If you combine this with Yugo Pantheon, then you take basically no effect from curses. Avoid stun. This is nice because the build is not stun immune. And crit chance, just obviously nice on a crit build. And then as for what can still be upgraded, I already talked about the body armor. This can be rolled just way higher. But you get into very, very expensive items when you get into much higher rolls. But this is about as high as I would say is reasonable if you just want to play a build that only has like 10 to 20 divine items as their most expensive items. This helmet is good, but could be better, could have a higher intelligence roll. Ideally, actually would not be an Eldritch helmet. It would be a hunter influenced helmet that just has a really high energy shield roll and intelligence, and then the hunter suffix for % increased intelligence. I tried to craft one, and I think I have it up for trade. I kind of missed on the energy shield here. It's definitely not worth 27 divine. It's been sitting here for a while and is not selling. At first, I hit like 550 energy shield on this, and then I Hunter's Exalted Orbed it, trying to hit the % intelligence, which is a 1 in 3. It would have been insanely valuable if that happened. It did not hit, though. It hit Chilling Conflux, which is useless. So then I went and I fossil crafted it. The way I've been crafting this is with this combination of fossils in a Prime Chaotic Resonator. This is, I believe, Sanctified Fossil, Dense Fossil, Fundamental Fossil, and Shuddering Fossil. I couldn't remember which one was Speed and No Mana. That's what I've been crafting with, and I just haven't quite hit what I wanted. An actually like really good helmet here, if I were to actually hit, could be worth in the dozens or hundreds of divines. So honestly, I'm kind of happy to just sit on this helmet that is probably only worth 3 to 5 divine, if I had to guess. Maybe a little higher because the energy shield roll is quite high. This is the same helmet I was wearing in the previous video, except that I used an Exalted Orb on it, hoping to get an energy shield roll, and I didn't. I got mana. Anyway, before I get into recording the boss kills and stuff with this build, the bottom line I want to get across here is just that this build, Whispering Ice Trickster, is criminally underplayed. I think this is one of the strongest League starters in the game, like very obviously, and I think it is stronger than almost every meta League starter this season, except for maybe Archmage Hierophant might be stronger, and if you want to do Sanctum, then Hexblast Mines is probably stronger. But out of all of the other meta League starters we had this season, I think this is stronger and easier to build than all of them. And by easier to build, I mean less expensive to build. It's not exactly easy to build because you do have to have quite a decent amount of knowledge of the game to build it properly, mainly because of things like split personality, just some understanding of how attribute stacking works in this game in order to put it together properly. But if you just follow a guide or copy someone, which hopefully this information I'm putting out helps, then it shouldn't be too hard. And this build is so strong. And it has been this strong for several leagues in a row now. I played this, like I said, back in Affliction. It was just as strong then, maybe even stronger. And I know people have played it for longer than that. And it has just been one of the strongest League starter builds in the game for a long time. Nobody talks about it. Nobody plays it. And it's just flying under the radar for no reason. I genuinely think it is just because Path of Building doesn't calculate the DPS for Ice Storm correctly, so it doesn't look as strong as it is in Path of Building. That is my best guess as to why this build doesn't get played more, because it is crazy how strong it is for how inexpensive it is to set up at League Start. Anyway, so I'm going to get into recording some boss kills. Like I said, I'm going to do that with my mic off, and then I'm just going to do a voiceover on top of them after the fact. So they might be out of order when I do put them together. That's going to be it for the information part of this video. I hope everyone is enjoying the league. I think this is like the best league they've ever done, in my opinion. I think it has problems, but I might talk about those in another video. So that will be all for now, but enjoy the boss kills that I'm about to record and include in the video. And I hope everything is going well for you, and just good luck on your league goals and just whatever you are doing in the league. I hope everyone is having a great time.
Death will never come for an immortal. Feel death's breath. Mortal. Dark mortal.
Prove yourself, warrior! Stand tall! Steel yourself, warrior! I can truly fight at full strength against you. Brave this! Stand tall! You have shown yourself to be worthy. Disintegration. Cleansing. Annihilation. The fires of 1,000 suns. Is that all you have? Incineration. Disintegration. Cleansing. Annihilation. Putrefy.
Exile, do something!
You force my hand again, little owl. So, you've chosen the side of death. This is my world, and you shall obey my order. irrelevant! Annihilated!
A real talent. Find the full.
resistance will be punished. Time the torch. Sky.
My irritation is growing. Get still! There will not be a escape. Scurry! Scurry! Stand still.
Death
Cascade
may
of pain.
real.
My election. Stand still.
Death made real.
Take this. Cascade of pain. That's strong.
Stop resisting. Reality bends. Punishment inescapable.
Arrogant boy. Take this. There cannot be escape. Scurry, scurry. Stand still. Cascade of pain. Stand still. Cascade of pain. The prettiest piece makes to the whole. Stand still.
I require aid! The living toy must enjoy our contests, for it continues to play.
I will not be made a fool.
So I just got done recording all of my Uber boss kills, and went pretty smoothly except for Uber Maven. I don't even want to talk about Uber Maven. I hate that fight. I hate everything about that fight. But anyway, I have this Valdo's map with Foil Headhunter. I opened this earlier today. I didn't record it, but I was streaming just on Discord, just a local stream for a friend, and he had opened a Valdo's box, and then I said, okay, I'm going to open mine, and then I looked and I said, oh, they're worth 1.2 div each, and he said, oh yeah, are you sure you want to open it? And before I opened it, I said yes, because I'm about to open my Foil Headhunter, and as I said that, I opened it, and it was Foil Headhunter, and I was about to say Mage Blood, but then I was like, nah, that's too greedy. Let me say Headhunter, and it will be a Headhunter. And now I have this Valdo map with Foil Headhunter. And I really like the theme on this map. It's all about the ultimatum on it. It's really, really difficult monsters in the ultimatum. It's 100% delirious, essence, possessed monsters, like crazy difficult rare monsters. There's no other like difficulty mods on the map, and there's no void. So, on one hand, I could sell this for 30 divine. On the other hand, ultimatum is my favorite mechanic, and I can't imagine selling this when, you know, I get to put my ultimatum skills to the test, and I just think this is a cool themed map, and this will be, if I get it, the third Headhunter I've obtained in a league through means other than trading. In the third different way. I've had one from a drop, from a map boss. I've had one from an ancient orb. That was last season. And this will be the third one if I get it. And the really interesting thing here is that this could be a free Headhunter, or it could be impossible. Because if it's a survive ultimatum, it's a free Headhunter. If it's a protect the altar ultimatum, it's probably an instant loss. And I have no idea what it's going to be. But I'm about to find out. $30 divine. Here we go. Oh, and there's an ultimatum boss. And he's right beside. Defeat waves of enemies. Oh, that is a hard one. Maybe I can just draw some of the problem monsters away from the ultimatum. Oh. Okay. Well, I pulled it kind of far from the ultimatum, so that's good. I do have to deal with the boss though. Still, he's kind of close to the ultimatum. Which one is it? It's the scarier one. Oh, it's the way scarier one. Oh, I'm gonna lose my Headhunter. Maybe I just pull him away, and then if he kills me like over here, then I can walk back in and do the ultimatum with none of this scary stuff around it. Although the ultimatum is going to spawn plenty of stuff that I won't be able to do, probably. I knew going into this that probably won't get the Headhunter, but it's way more fun this way. Escalating monster speed. Wow. Starting with a terrible, terrible modifier. Okay, okay. Here we go. Oh, and it's the worst monster types. I have no idea why these guys are sometimes taking 0 damage. Like, there isn't really any explanation for them taking literally no damage, right? Like, sometimes my damage is fine, sometimes I'm doing 0. I don't see any... Oh, can only be... That answers it. I didn't even see that modifier, that the have to be in melee range. Oh, are you kidding me? Escalating damage taken? How does it have escalating speed and escalating damage taken in the first 3 rounds? These are both rare modifiers, and they're like the worst. It really does not want to give me that Headhunter. Okay, giant notification blocking my screen. Oh. Oh. What was that? Oh well, I tried.